This is a follow-up to a video I made a few months ago about the Centerpoint Wrath 430, and hopefully this will help someone who's interested in getting something that's a good value and a very good performer. But there are a few words of caution, a few things that I would like to, tell people about. I have a few tips that'll make it easier for somebody to become efficient quicker. I ran into a few issues, minor issues, that if I had known prior to purchasing it or prior to setting it up, it would have saved me a lot of time. The first issue I had was the quiver. Okay, it's very difficult to put your crossbow bolt into the quiver and try to snap it in, wind out breaking the bolt. Now I did that with a bolt and I thought the bolt came in broken, but as I measured it, I realized it was broken where I was trying to snap it in. So the quiver that it comes with is very tight. My suggestion would be, if you want to use this quiver, okay, snap it in. See, this one's a tough one. Snap it in and then push your bolts up. Okay, push them up into there. And then it's usable, but it's a tough quiver to use. I actually replaced it with a quiver I had on an older bow. The quiver bracket, I made it so the latch on the quiver bracket opened on the inside, which means I unscrewed it and I flipped it, because originally it was the other way, and this little latch, I don't know if you could see it, okay, this little latch was hitting the limb to take the quiver off. So that I would recommend to do. And also, be careful with that quiver it comes with. It is usable. You don't need to worry. It's perfectly usable if you keep in mind not to put it into the hood and snap it in. Snap it in like this, okay, like I showed you, which, takes a little effort, maybe after you break it in, and then push it upwards. Not the easiest quiver to work with. Usable, you just have to keep that in mind. And there's no instructions, nobody told me that. So hopefully this will help somebody prevent from breaking their bolts, because it's frustrating.
Also, make sure you Loctite the bolt that holds the riser to the barrel. Another thing to double check is to tighten down the Allen bolts that hold the scope rail down to the body of the crossbow. Other than these few issues I just went over, the bow is holding up very well. There's no cable problems, no cable wear, no loosening up. The bow is solid. The cams are good. The string is holding up, although I did replace it, but the string is holding up very well. I put it through its paces, hundreds of shots, many weekends shooting, and it's holding up just fine. There's no excessive wear, nothing rattling. It's consistent, hasn't given me any surprises. I have to say I'm really happy with it. It's fast, it's shooting over 400 feet per second, and it's very consistent.
Okay, this is the silent crank cocking device, and my advice in using this, I like it a lot. A little bit of hefty. I don't know how much it weighs, but it's not super light. But you could take the clutch, okay, loosen it up. Now, let me see if I can do this better. Okay. The sled, okay, the sled is aluminum. One bit of advice with this, okay, it locks into the stock really nicely. It works really well. Do not put it away like this, okay? When you put it away, crank it all the way in, because it can get looped up and tangled, and that could be very frustrating. It's not that easy to untangle. So I would suggest putting it away. Don't give it the potential to get tangled. It is a nice, especially if you don't want to, like, if you're not that tall and you don't want to have a problem cocking, don't want to hurt your shoulders. This thing is pretty nice. Okay, here's the clutch, okay, to unlock it. Okay, so there's the clutch. Okay, pretty nice compact thing, pretty easy to use. So stick it in the back like that, it snaps right in nicely. Okay, and it's pretty easy to crank, and it's quiet. Okay. All right. There you go.
Let's check out the trigger.
There's virtually no creep. It's pretty crisp.
70 yards. Watch close. I used the 30-yard pin by accident. Ignore the turkey tone. That's my text tone.
After having this for a few months since I made my last video and shooting hundreds and hundreds of shots in different situations, I have to say this Wrath 430 is holding up. Has not loosened up. It's still accurate. I have no issues with it. The cables are fine. The string is fine. After putting this through its paces, this Wrath 430, I can honestly say that I have no issues, no problem recommending it, other than the issues we talked about, which is number one, the quiver, the bolt that holds the riser to the barrel, that has to be Loctited, and then these bolts have to be Loctited, the ones that hold the scope rail down. I'm using a different scope. I'm sure the scope that came with it is fine. It seemed okay. I had this one, like I said before. So I'm using it. This is an ACOG crossbow scope. It's expensive. You don't need it. Other than that, I'm really happy with this for the price. Actually, for any price, it's a good, usable bow. You could go out and use it in the field. I believe it'll last many years. I will not buy a more expensive one because I have this one. If you need a bow that shoots over 400 feet per second, is consistent and sturdy, and you're willing just to tighten these bolts down and use a few drops of Loctite, I recommend it, and I think you'll be happy with it. If you have any questions or comments or anything to add, please leave them in the comment section below. Appreciate any thumbs up or shares. Also, if you haven't subscribed yet, I really appreciate it if you subscribe. It really helps me a lot and motivates me to do more of these videos. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.